The Boss Mom podcast is a supportive space for mothers, whether expecting, new, or seasoned, wearing multiple hats, corporate babes, entrepreneurs, or serial workers, to come together, uplift each other, and discuss our challenges and celebrate our wins. With that being said, all right, Boss Moms, let the movement begin. Hey, Boss Moms, welcome back to the Boss Mom podcast. You're here for episode 3. I'm so excited to have you all on again. I can't believe it's already episode 3. I really feel like I just released my podcast yesterday. But no, it's great. I'm happy to be here again. I have a guest with me, Miss Kayla Redmond, who attended Bethune-Cookman University with me as well. So I'm so happy to have her on the call, and I'm going to give her an opportunity to introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. Again, I am Kayla Redmond. I am, what should I say? I am a new mom. My baby is 4 months old. I had him this past January, and it's been an interesting experience. Never thought I would have that experience, to be honest, but it's been very interesting. I am a flight attendant, as well as I just started, well, I didn't just start, but I have a nonprofit organization, and I'm starting to do fitness training for moms and anybody who's want to get back in shape who's been out. So that's me.
I did not know you had you was signing fitness training. Like,
yeah.
I need to sign up because I have not been working out like I need to. I take my walks, but
I mean, that's really all you need to do though right now.
Yeah, I've been trying to. I got the little the pregnancy ball, do like some stretches and stuff. So I've been doing that, but I am like not working out. I started off being lazy. I'm not gonna lie. My boyfriend's like, so you're not gonna do any workouts, like, and I'm just like, no, I'm gonna just chill tonight. Look, it's always tomorrow, and then tomorrow come, and I never do anything. So, but now I've been enjoying my walks, so that's something I actually look forward to. But I can't wait to get back in the swing of things for sure of working out. So.
Yeah, that was actually one of the hardest things for me, because I'm prior military, so I'm used to going hard, working out.
Yeah.
And when I was working out while I was pregnant, I was like trying to be cautious and like not trying to lift too much, but I'm used to like going so hard. So that was a challenge for me to try to slow down and not, do too much because I didn't want to risk nothing at all. So
yeah. When you first got pregnant, did your doctor ask you, like, do you work out, or if there's any workouts that you do?
No, she just told me, just like, well, he said, pay attention to my body, like don't overexert yourself. And she recommended me not working out in the sun because I don't know, I stayed dehydrated for some reason, but I drank my water all the time. It was crazy, but yeah, she just recommended me to pay attention to my body and listen to the baby if there was any issues.
Yeah, they had asked me, was I working out? And I was like, I used to before I got pregnant, and then I kind of stopped. And she was like, well, we definitely recommend you, not do too much, but do something.
Definitely. That's why I say the walking is good for you.
Yeah, well, definitely going to continue doing that, especially as I'm getting closer. Want to make sure I'm all stretched out and no issues.
Do you have the pregnancy ball to sit on?
Yeah, that's what I do have.
Okay.
I've had it for a while, but I just opened it and probably started using it like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So I just need to get a little bit more consistent with doing the stretches. But I was watching some YouTube videos, and cause I'm like, I don't even know what to do with this thing besides bounce. Like,
that's all I used to do. Like, I'll watch TV and just bounce on it.
Yeah,
I knew it would make me do it at that time. So
my boyfriend's like, that's all you're gonna do is bounce. I'm like, I gotta look up some stuff on YouTube because I'm like, I've been then rolled off this thing and that's the end of it. So, but
No, I'm so happy to have you here today. I definitely wanted to have you talk about your experience as it relates to endometriosis. So I know you gave your testimony on Instagram like in March, and I was like, oh my goodness, like that's such a fantastic story to share because not in the sense of like the situation, but just sharing because it provided knowledge to people. Like for me, I don't personally have endometriosis, but it does run in my family.
Mm-hmm.
And like my grandmother, my aunt, my cousin. And so, like a few years ago, that's when I actually learned about what it was. My cousin was like, hey, you may want to talk to your doctor about this because it's something that runs in our family. And, such and such has it. And, you just want to be safe. You plan on having kids and just checking. And so, me,
Right.
I'm so scary about everything. So I'm like, what? Like, what? It's like, do I need to call my doctor right now? Like, because I was like, she just freaked me out. So when I saw your story, I was just like, oh, I've got to have her on here to talk about her experience. So I'm going to give you the floor to just kind of tell us, from when you got diagnosed, um,
Mhm.
how that was for you and what is endometriosis exactly.
Okay, so endometriosis is basically I don't want to give the medical term or medical definition for it. It's easy to describe it, in layman's terms for everybody to get it. But our uterus produces um, a lining inside, and endometriosis is basically an extra lining added on to your uterus. Sometimes it grows where it in your uterus. Sometimes it'll grow in your abdomen. It will grow in your anus. It will grow anywhere. And so the extra lining when you have your menstrual cycle, it peels, or not peels, but it I guess you want to say it peels. It peels, um, but it's an extra lining to your uterus, so it causes pain. Depending on the person, most it causes pain, like a lot of pain, during their cycle or before or right after. But for me, I was diagnosed in 2014,
Mhm.
but I had it. I want to say it's in my early teens. I had it because
Mhm.
the pain has been consistent, like um, since I've had a cycle. Um, I went to the doctor actually for a hernia. I had a hernia in 2014, and I went to the doctor. Well, I didn't know it was a hernia at the time, but we went to the doctor to see what it was because I had a bulge on my navel, and it was like coming out of my navel. Like it was like a big knot hanging out of my navel, and I couldn't sleep on my stomach. I couldn't wear pants. Like it was horrible. So I had to have surgery on that, and the doctor, he said when he went inside of my navel, he saw this weird substance in there. And
Mhm.
so he took it to the lab to get tested, and coming to find out it was endometriosis. And that's how I ended up getting diagnosed with it. Mine had spread it to my abdomen at that time. And yeah, they gave me ibuprofen. And said,
Ibuprofen.
ibuprofen, 800 milligram ibuprofen, said, go on your merry way. It'll be okay. I think it's because at that time I was in the military. So
Mhm.
honestly, I don't think it's enough awareness for it.
Mhm.
And even with the doctors, like, they don't really know like what to do, or
Yeah.
there's no cure. Nobody knows how you get it. Like, so their best bet is just to give you painkillers. And that's what I did. Like, I was popping them like candy.
Right, right. Okay. I don't want to feel this pain. So,
Yeah, it was crazy. So yeah, I've been dealing with it. I've dealt with it. And it spread it more. It was spreading like every year after that, because at this point I know what it is.
right.
So I would say it was 2019. I went to the doctor, and she was telling me, my OBGYN was telling me that it was spreading to my anus at this point. but I already kind of knew it. I thought it was something else. I thought it was IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome.
Okay.
I thought that's what it was, but kind of find out it was just the endometriosis spreading that way. And that pain is like, like I can't even, it's crazy, but it's only when my cycle is on. The endometriosis, the one in my abdomen, I feel that a lot, like more often than the anus pain, but during my cycle, it's crazy. Once she told me that, I was just like, it's a wrap. I just started boo crying in her office. I'm like, I'll never have kids. My biological clock is ticking. Like, it's just over for me. Like it's spread and I'm just doomed.
Right.
And she's like, you're young, anything is possible. And we're not going to rule it out, but it's, infertility is very high, just to be real with you.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, it's over for me. I mean, at this point, I'm old. Like, I'm pushing 30. It's not happening. Like, this is it.
That's how we do. We put all those negative thoughts. We like, I get what you're saying, but it ain't happening.
Right. I hear you. Like, you sound like, you make it sound good, but let's be real. So that day, I was waiting for my ibuprofen at the pharmacy, and this lady came and sat next to me, and she was like, it was, first of all, it was a lot of chairs in this pharmacy, and she sat right next to me. And so now I'm just like, okay, I know she see all these chairs. Like, why is she sitting next to me? Like, what is the deal? So she started talking to me, just, casual talk, and she asked me what I was there for and stuff. And I told her, and I was like, bust out crying with this lady. Like, I got endometriosis and it's spreading. Like, I'm not gonna have kids. I'm getting older. I want kids and blah blah blah. And she's like, you're gonna have kids. I'm like, okay. She's like, she knew some person before that they had something similar, but it wasn't endometriosis, and she gave them like all these different things to do and to take. And she was like, the next year they had a kid, and I'm like, okay. She gave me all this stuff, but I'm thinking to myself, I'm not going to take this stuff because, first of all, I don't know who you are. What you're giving me. You're just a random lady that sat next to me and started talking crazy. So, okay. But she was telling me, like, my eating habits plays a role. And she was saying I need to stop eating beef and pork. And coffee was, like, the big culprit because for some reason she felt like it like feeds off of the caffeine. So I'm like, okay, well, coffee is my drug because first of all, I'm a flight attendant, so I need the coffee. Like, I need coffee. Coffee gets me through a lot. So I'm like, well, I'm not gonna stop the coffee. I probably could stop beef and pork a little bit, but I'm really not paying this lady no mind. Like, at this point, I'm convinced that this is my life and I've accepted it. Like, I'm gonna be the cool auntie, I'm gonna be the cool godmama, and that's just what it is. But yeah, the next year, I ended up getting pregnant, and I honestly didn't know. I didn't know I was pregnant for, I think I was like 10 weeks. And everybody knew, like, my best friend kept telling me, like, you should take a test. Like, you're very moody, you're very emotional. I'm like, no, it's just, everything is just stupid. And that's all it is. Like, I'm not pregnant. Like, you're crazy. And I took that test, and, like, literally, soon as it was a drop on it, it turned. Literally, I'm just like, oh my gosh. I took 7 tests because I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe. I was like, this can't be true because I have endometriosis. It spread it.
No, I was saying, did you miss like your cycle?
No, like, it came so I got pregnant. Well, I think I got pregnant the beginning of April, and my May cycle, it came. Well, I thought it came. It was like very spotty, but with my endometriosis, like, kind of find out it was just the embryo connecting to the walls or whatever.
Yep, that's what happened.
But I'm thinking, like, that's just the endometriosis because it was painful. Like, it hurt. Like, it was cramped. Like, I was cramping like it was a regular, cycle. So I'm just like, maybe it's just gonna be a light one, this one or whatever. But yeah, I didn't know, and I couldn't believe it at all.
That is so crazy. Like, it's funny when, you're going through things and it's like a random sign, because clearly that lady was a random sign. Like,
Yeah.
where did you come from? Like, are you picking up any medicine? Like, did you
Right. Like, why are you
come
here? It was just
sit down?
really weird. It was really weird. And I really wish I would have got her contact information, because I want to tell her, like, you were right. Like, who
Right.
are you?
I
Who
just
sent you?
find it. Like, oh my goodness, that is crazy. And now you have your beautiful baby boy. He's absolutely adorable.
Thank
So, how was like pregnancy? Like, you
you.
know,
So,
how was that experience?
shockingly, I had a very easy pregnancy.
Okay.
I didn't think I would, because I said if I ever did get pregnant, it was going to be a hard one. I probably never want to do it again, but it was really smooth. I didn't have any morning sickness ever. Never had morning sickness. I had cravings, but it wasn't like weird, crazy cravings. It was just, I have to have cereal at 3 a.m. every morning. I have to have my orange juice when I wake up. I have to have breakfast at breakfast time. Like, I cannot have like no burger at breakfast time. It has to be pancakes, eggs, and bacon. Like, it was that type of cravings. Like, I needed what I needed at that time. Um, but I didn't have no issues. I want to say the hardest part for me was actual labor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because I mean, I don't really know, but I think my endometriosis started playing a role in it, because most of my labor pains was in my anus, and
Oh.
it was horrible. And like,
Did you do epidural?
I got an epidural. I was in labor for 40 hours, and I got an epidural at 20 hours. I was like, I can't do this no more. Like, I tried, but I couldn't sit down. I couldn't walk, because every time I moved, like, it hurt. Like,
So
the
epidural did help with the anus pain?
it didn't take it all the way away, but I was able to cope with
Bear
it.
it,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, like I felt the pressure more so of pain. It was more just the pressure in my anus.
Mm-hmm.
But my entire pregnancy, yeah, I did have a lot of like tailbone pains,
Mm-hmm.
where I couldn't really sit on. Well, I shouldn't have been sitting on anything hard, but I like to sit on the floor, but I couldn't really do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was really just my tailbone pains that was bad. I mean, besides the regular, you're getting big and you can't really
Right.
carry your
Uncomfortable
extra weight that you
anyways.
got, and your feet swelling up and that type of things. But other than that, it was really smooth, really smooth.
Well, that's a blessing for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially when you have, outside factors, because I feel like pregnancy already, like you said, comes with its uncomfortable moments, especially
Yes.
as you get bigger and things of that nature. And so any additions to that, definitely could make it harder. So that's definitely good that, it didn't affect and you had a successful pregnancy and a successful labor, because you got them here. So what made you share your story? Because I know I was just like, oh, like, I was, especially if you don't know. And I mean, like, I had never seen you talk about it before, which maybe
Mm-hmm.
I missed it. I don't know if that was your first time, but like, what made you want to even share your story? Because I just find it oftentimes like when we go through these trials or these challenges, it's kind of like we're hesitant to share, and
Right.
just not realizing like the next mom or next female, because I know you don't have to be pregnant to even have endometriosis. So just even putting that out there that you are experiencing, that was your experience. Like, what made you want to do that?
So what made me make the post? I'm gonna start there. I seen Tamara Tamara Mari. I think it was Tia or Tamara, one of the twins. She
Mm-hmm.
posted her story of endometriosis, and I didn't know she had endometriosis. And she has two kids. Both of them have two kids. I don't know which one it was, one of the twins.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what made me actually post the story. But I just feel like women, we really suffer in silence with everything. Everything we go through, we have to be these strong women and just get through it. And
Yeah.
I don't think that's cool, especially when it comes to stuff like that. Like, especially if you have a partner, you know, and you having your pains. I know for me, when I have my cycle, I'm like in cripple mode. Like I can't move. Like I have to literally be balled up in fetal position to be able to sleep, and nothing will work. Nothing works at all. So I feel like it just needs to be talked about.
Right.
And I know so many people that have fertility issues, not necessarily they can't have kids, but things that hinder it, fibroids, PCOS, like it's there, and nobody knows these silent, you know, issues, but they're quick to say, oh, you're 30, when you're going to have kids, you know,
Exactly.
or why have you gotten married and started having your kids yet? You guys been married for 5 years, or you know, do you even want kids? Like, you don't know what these people are going through. You know,
Right.
people don't like to speak on it because it makes it either they feel weak or less of a woman. I know at one point I felt like I was less of a woman because I didn't think I could have kids. And I felt like I was in a serious relationship, and I felt like it was a conversation that needed to be had that I didn't want to have, because I'm like, I know you're going to want kids.
Right.
You definitely want a little boy, and I can't do it. Like, I think I would need medical help to make that happen, you know? And I just think that it needs to be said. Like, people need to come from behind these walls and these bushes and speak on what's really going on.
Right.
And the fact that my situation, the fact that I even got pregnant, had a successful pregnancy, a seamless pregnancy, successful delivery, and a healthy baby, I just felt like I couldn't keep quiet. Like, it could be, if I could do it, you can do it. Like, it can happen. Like, the doctors are not the final say in none of
We're all
this.
human. I mean, not to say, you know, doctors are great and they're definitely, I mean, that's their job, you know what I'm saying, to give the information. But like you say, that's not the final say, and you just have to keep your faith. Like, you know, I mean, if you're into religion or, you know, whatever, just remain strong in positive thoughts. Because I feel like when we learn about these things, like if we're diagnosed with something, or even just maybe not diagnosed, but go through something, like, for instance, like what was it? I want to say the year I graduated, I had gotten a call from the doctor. I had just had my paps, my normal pap smear visit, and they called and was like, hey, we need to do further testing. And I'm just like, what would you need to do further testing for? Like, I've never had to do further testing. So I'm already freaking out and, you know, just thinking of all negative outcomes, to be honest. Like, and they're just like, oh, we just noticed something. And, you know, we just want to have you come back. And it turned out like I had irregular pap, and I had like precancerous cells showing up. And so I was devastated because I'm like, listen, all I know is you down there in my lady parts where I'm supposed to conceive. Like,
right,
you're telling me I got precancer. Oh no, it's fine. It's, you know, it's common. And I'm like, I'm not hearing that. Just like you were saying, the doctor was trying to be positive, like, you're young and stuff. And all I'm thinking of, can I have kids? Like, it's going to. So definitely, you know, I agree with you about sharing our stories, because it is a lot of things that's common, right? And we all may have experienced something, and that may be similar to the next person. And so that's another reason you know, that inspired me to even build this platform, because I feel like it is a lot of things that we don't talk about, you know, especially going through pregnancy and even after, you know, being a mother. And it's just like when you have those personal conversations, like you say, you know, a lot of people that's going through infertility, or other, you know, issues with their body. And it's like, girl, me too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and that's what I'm glad you said that, the Me Too, because I had that, I forgot to mention that earlier, but I had the same conversation with my doctor about the precancerous, whatever it was. I had to have what they call, well, she called it like a partial hysterectomy, where they just kind of burnt off a little portion of my cervix.
Mm-hmm.
So that was in 2016, I believe. I forgot about that. I try to throw all this stuff like out of my
To the
brain.
bag, right?
Like, it's crazy. But the same thing, like when I made that post, I had so many people like in my inbox like saying like that's happened to me. Thank you for telling your story. Like now you're giving me hope. Like, it can happen. Like I gave up, and it's just like, wow, I would have never thought that you were suffering through that at
Exactly.
all.
Exactly. Just because you say like we suffer in silence because it's like we don't see it as acceptable, you
Right.
know. And even me, like I know I get embarrassed like easily, and so I'm like even sharing this, like I didn't want to share that information, but at the same time I'm boo-hooing on the quad, like because I was on campus when they called me, and so I'm just like, you know, I went through that because I had to go to the doctor like on a 6-month basis after that instead of yearly until I got cleared. And so it took a few times, a few pap smears for me to be cleared to go back to the yearly visits. But, you know, the whole time I was just like, I hope they don't come out and say, you know, you can't have kids, because that's honestly the first thing that came to mind. Like, okay, like I'm not trying to have kids tomorrow, but you know, what does my future hold? And so then even realizing though, like my future is not in your hands. Like, yes, you're going to give me the medical advice and the medical diagnosis or what have you, you know, whatever this may be, but I have faith, you know, and so just beyond that, just trying to remain faithful and just know, like, trying to take care of my body. But I just felt like, you know, so many things was happening after that. And I'm just like, okay. So I had gotten to the point where I was like, you know, if it happens or when it happens, and they have never said, like, you know, you're infertile or anything like that. But it was just like, well, dang, why is all these things happening? You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's just, and then with finding out about endometriosis, you know, running in my family, I was just like, okay, is it like a matter of time before they say, you know, you have it too? But like you said, I mean, people like yourself go through successful pregnancies. Like my grandmother has 6 kids and my aunts, my cousin, they have kids as well. So I'm like, and now, I mean, I'm pregnant. So even if they do say, you know, at some point I have it as well, but, you know, just remain hopeful and faithful that everything will be okay, because clearly you're a testimony, a walking testimony that even if you are diagnosed and they're saying this won't happen.
Right. You never know.
You never know. So what is, like, now that you've delivered and everything, like, cause that's just, I don't know. I'm just like, that's crazy that like, you didn't have a cycle either while you're pregnant. Cause you say it mostly affects when you're, on your cycle, right? That's when you mostly feel it and stuff. So has it like come back, like now that you've given birth, is it back to like its normal schedule of pain for you?
No, it's crazy.
Really?
Actually, I mean, of course, after, because I had a vaginal birth, so after that, you know, I bled for however many days, but that was just from giving birth.
Right.
I want to say it was maybe a month ago, I had a little spotty and little cramping. I thought, I was like, okay, here we go, you back. Hey, girl. But it wasn't. It lasted for like 2 days, and I haven't had any issues since, or any indication that she's gonna reappear. But I am on birth control now, so I have the Nexplanon, which is the little rod that's in your arm. And I had it before, like years ago, and I didn't have a cycle the whole time. Like the doctor recommended that because she said that's the best birth control for endometriosis at the time, because it was able to keep your cycle away for a while, so the pain would be, minute or just not any pain at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that's probably playing a role in it too. And I'm breastfeeding, and they say that keeps it away as well, but
Oh, really?
I've read otherwise, so I don't really know.
You're a Googler like me.
Yeah. That's all I do all day. Get all my information. Like,
right. I'm like, what's this pain?
right.
I've been doing that the whole
sick of
time.
me.
I'm like, I know my little Google history. I know if somebody look through that thing, they probably like, why are you looking this up? Like, I gotta be sure now. I can't call the doctor at 12 o'clock when I'm having these thoughts.
Right.
Well, that's good. Well, look, that was, little man, just a blessing.
Yes, definitely a blessing.
Because I couldn't even imagine like feeling that. Like I hate cramps, like just regular cramps, and I didn't even start getting cramps until after I got off birth control. So, which was
you're lucky.
Recent, yeah. I'm like, I didn't know. I was on birth control for a long time, so I feel like that played a role too because my cycles were a lot shorter.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I got off of that thing, it was like, girl, you sure you don't want to get back on? So I know, like, you're probably super happy that,
Yes, I do not want it to come back. Do not. That pain is no joke.
It's something you mentioned earlier, just about the awareness and the knowledge behind the endometriosis. And I just feel like it's so sad because based on my segment last week too, just talking about perinatal mental health, and now talking about this, which is dealing with our physical health, about how it's not enough information surrounding these things. Like the fact that they send you home with ibuprofen just shocked me.
Terrible.
I'm like, what? Like,
and you're lucky if you get 800 milligrams. They give out 600 now. Yeah.
And that really just bothers me. And not granted, like, it's all science and it has to be tested and all of that, but it's just like, is this something that you all are constantly working on to, find out more information to help people, cope through this and, maybe find a cure, or at least something better than ibuprofen? Like, we came up with this vaccine for this COVID.
Right. Like in 2 days.
Right. And now, mothers are suffering through, or just women who aspire to have kids, one day, because maybe they're really, maybe that I'm sure there are moms, or not moms, but women out there who are trying to, have children, and this is stopping them. And so, but my thoughts and feelings around women and our bodies and pregnancy are totally different story. Like, because
it's crazy. Like, our bodies are amazing. They're amazing.
They are. And I feel like, within these laws, trying to be put in place or being put in place,
man-made laws,
control our bodies, I just feel like this is not of importance, like just even trying to figure anything out with us as far as our bodies are concerned. It's just really not important. And I feel like we're constantly being shown that it's not.
Yeah.
It's sad because I would have never expected you to say that they sent you home with ibuprofen. Like,
definitely. And every time I go back for my checkup to see if it's spreaded or if I came in for something else, it's like, oh, you still have your pains? I can give you a refill. Oh.
And it's like, it's more than the pain.
Right.
Like, while I appreciate, you giving me something to stop the pain, it's like, I want to stop this indefinitely. Like, can we talk about that? Like, or is there anything I can do to make it stop spreading, or, like.
But they don't know. Like, even in 2014, when I was diagnosed, like, the doctor, he had no idea. I think he went and Googled it right before he came in and talked to me about it, because he was he couldn't answer my questions.
Yeah.
He was just like, it's a fairly new issue that they're still researching. And I'm thinking, okay, so when I looked it up, I didn't see that it was fairly new, that you didn't
Yeah,
have
I was about to
information.
say,
Yeah. He told me it was fairly new and they were still like researching what it was. And he didn't know if it was spread. He didn't know if it would prevent me from getting pregnant. He didn't know anything, like, at all.
sound like it was fairly new for him.
It was fairly new for him. That's exactly what it was. And that's the problem. Like, even these doctors are not looking into this and seeing that not even majority, a lot of women are suffering with this, and nobody wants to look into this and see how to prevent it or control it, at least. Like, it's crazy. Even OBGYNs, like, why you don't have enough information on it?
Right. And that's why I appreciate the ones who do like give information. Like, it's 2 OBGYN pages that I follow that are Black women. And I appreciate, because they're always putting out, information, medical information out there specifically for minority women, that, and I just feel like it's so important. Like, and that's why I'm such an advocate for minority women doctors, like I am. And I when I got pregnant, I told my boyfriend, I need a Black woman doctor. Like, and that's just what it's gonna be. Like, it's just been too many situations where we have been,
dying for
treated,
no reason.
not treated for things, and just being walked away, on, like, and I didn't like that. I was like, nope, my first baby, this is, and he was full, he definitely understood, full support, because I was Googling, I'm like, yeah, I gotta find me a doctor here in Atlanta, like, but that's why it's important to me, because I'm like, we have to take care of each other. Like, if ain't nobody gonna do it, we gonna do it. We gotta do it. Like, it's just too many stories after story, and it's disheartening. It's just like, we shouldn't have to go through that, and why are our numbers higher, for certain situations than other groups, and it's sad. And
it's very sad.
So I'm just happy, that everything worked out for you, and, hopefully you sharing your story with the next woman that was maybe experiencing it definitely helps her, cope and have a better attitude towards it, because that's already, that's already a lot to even carry, especially when, maybe things haven't been as positive for you. It's definitely hard to be positive or remain positive when positive things aren't happening. So that's why I appreciate us sharing these stories and talking about the success that can come out of a quote unquote bad situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I appreciate, even though I'm not directly suffering from it, it's just like, I appreciate your transparency about it, because you never know, what can happen, and just even having knowledge around it, is definitely helpful. So is there any advice that you could give, or that you have given women that are suffering from endometriosis, that may be aspiring to get pregnant or are currently pregnant and have it?
I would first say, stay knowledgeable, do your research, continue to do your research. We never know if something is going to come out, or a new vaccine, or a new anything. So I would say stay knowledgeable and stay encouraged as well, because as I am a testimony, you never know what can happen. If you are aspiring to be pregnant, just stay encouraged. I would also say, do not focus on being pregnant either. I think once I let it go and told myself, like, okay, this may not happen for me, so let me just live my life, that's when it happened. So I think not consuming your days, your time, your life around wanting to be pregnant may reduce some issues, that you're having, like, internally, and then as well it may bring up a little person. You never know. But I would recommend that. It helped me. Like once I let it go, it was just like, whoa, here you go.
Mhm.
But staying encouraged, and the women who are pregnant with the issue, if you are having any issues regarding the endometriosis, just stay connected with your doctor. My doctor told me, like, I don't care what time it is, you can call me. Okay, I'm going to do that.
Okay.
So stay connected. Pay attention to your body. Pay attention to your baby. Like, make sure you're doing everything that they ask you to do. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
That's good. That's good advice, and I hope we've touched a listener today. And I thank you for sharing your story, and definitely continue. My advice is continue to share your story. You just never know who you can touch and who you can help. So I appreciate you joining the Boss Mom podcast today, and thank you all for tuning in for episode 3. I hope that you all were able to take some information, even if you're not actually going through anything with endometriosis. My advice to you all is to just pay attention to your body. And women in general, like any signs, anything that you think doesn't sound or feel right, like, talk to your doctor about it. I know every appointment I had before I was pregnant, I was, they're like, oh, you feeling any different about anything? Yes, I am. And I'm like, just pay attention, even if they turn out and say something minor or it's nothing at all, because sometimes we do put things in our head, but just definitely pay attention, because you are the one that's going through it. You're the one that's feeling it. So, don't hesitate to share that with your doctor, or even just talking to someone, and just say, hey, maybe another woman, your mom or something, hey, I was experiencing this. I'm not really sure, but that's just one thing that I want to add, is for you to just pay attention, and don't be afraid to speak out on anything that may seem irregular, because you don't want to get down the road and then they're like, hey, we noticed this, were you feeling any kind of way? And then you kind of, ignored it. So
don't let the doctor dismiss you either with your pain.
Right.
Like if you're feeling something, don't let them brush you off and tell you that it's something else.
Right.
That's what happened to me all these years. It was, oh, that's just cramps, you'll be okay. And turned out it was not. So don't let them dismiss your pain level or what you're feeling.
Right, exactly. Well, thanks again. And I'm going to wrap it up. And ladies, remember, being a boss mom is a lifestyle. So stay motivated and stay bossy. I'll see you all next time.
The Boss Mom Movement podcast can be found on Apple and Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, and Spotify. Make sure you subscribe and tune in every Sunday.